Hey there, it's Tom Corson-Knowles, #1 best-selling author of the Kindle Publishing Bible series and founder of TCK Publishing. In this video, I'm going to show you real quick how to self-publish your ebook on Nook using nookpress.com. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is go to nookpress.com, N-O-O-K press.com, and once you sign in, create an account, go ahead and click Create New Project at the top right here. Once you do that, you're going to have to name your project. I'm going to call this one Test Book. Okay, once you create your project, here's where it all begins, and it's actually a really simple, really fast process. First thing you're going to do is upload your manuscript file. Now, if you've watched my formatting videos, which are totally free on YouTube, to show you how to format your ebook for Kindle, that same exact formatting process works perfectly for Nook as well. Now, Nook will take doc format or docx format, so .doc or .docx format. That's Word documents. So anything from Word 2003 or newer will work just fine. You can also upload a text file, RTF, which is rich text format, HTML, or EPUB. Any of those formats work just fine. I highly recommend using doc or .docx using Microsoft Word, because my training video shows you exactly how to format your book using Microsoft Word. It's super simple, it's super easy. You can make edits really easily. You don't have to buy extra software to convert into EPUB and different formats. And also the same format works perfectly for Kindle as well. So it's super, super easy. So I recommend Microsoft Word, but whatever format you have is just fine. Go ahead and just upload your manuscript file right here. Once you do that, they will just upload the file, and it'll have a check mark right here once you've uploaded your manuscript if everything's a-okay. Once you've uploaded your manuscript, go to cover image, and this is where you're going to upload your cover image. Again, it's pretty simple. One difference between Nook and like Kindle, for instance, is that Nook has a file maximum size of 2 megabytes. So, Kindle will take some pretty large image covers with tons of definition, tons of detail. Nook has a limit of 2 megabytes. So you might have to ask your cover designer to, reduce your file size if you've got like a really fancy print cover. It's not a big deal. Any designer who knows what they're doing should be able to give you a file less than 2 megabytes. They do recommend a width of at least 1400 pixels for best image quality. And again, your designer should be able to do this for you, no problem. Even like a designer at Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, where everything's just $5. Even a designer there should know pretty easily how to do this for you. You might have to pay an extra $5 to get them to change the size for you or something like that. But it's not a big deal, and it should be a really simple process. Again, once you upload it and everything's good to go, there'll be a checkbox right there, so letting you know that your cover image has been uploaded and that everything's working good. Then next, you're going to fill out your Nook book details. So this is where you're going to fill your title of your book, your publication date, who your publisher is. If you're self-published, you can just put your name or the name of your publishing company. You're going to put the publication date, which is usually the day, like today, that you're uploading the book. You're going to put the author's first and last name. Last name is mandatory. And then you're going to select here from the drop-down box that you are the author. If you want to add more contributors, like other co-authors, editors, illustrators, translators, etc., you can go ahead and do that here. Now, one note about Nook, which is different than Kindle, is they only take up to 5 contributors. So on Kindle, you can have 10 contributors, and you can email Kindle to add more. Nook, they only take 5. You can email them if you want to add more, and they might do it for you. Next is your book description. A little bit different than Kindle. Kindle only takes 4,000 characters. Nook takes up to 5,000, so you got a little bit more room to use for your book description. That's good. You want to use as much room as possible, because the longer your book description, A, the more information you're going to give readers to let them make a good decision whether they want to buy your book or not. And B, the longer your description, the more keywords you have in there, and the easier it's going to be for readers to find your book, whether they're searching on the Nook store, whether they're searching on Google. More keywords are better. Then there's a section to put about the author, so you can have information about the author, your bio, stuff like that. You can put that there, and I recommend you fill that out. Next, you can need to let them know if you have an ebook specific ISBN. So if you have an ISBN for the ebook version of your book, you're going to hit yes, and then you're going to fill out your ISBN right here. If not, just hit no, and Nook will just assign you their Nook Nook number instead of an ISBN. Either way, it's just fine. You don't need an ISBN. So the only reason you really want an ISBN is A, you want the industry to track your book sales, because maybe you want to get published traditionally and you want them to track your sales. So that's probably not a good route unless you're selling a lot of books, like over 5,000, or planning to sell at least 5,000. The other reason you might want an ISBN is because you're looking to make the New York Times or Wall Street Journal or USA Today bestseller lists. If you want to make a big bestseller list, you'll need an ISBN so they can track your sales. That's another reason you want an ISBN. If you're not looking to do either of those two things, you probably don't need an ISBN. But if you're going to buy a big package of ISBNs anyways, then it doesn't really cost you much once you've bought a package. So, I wouldn't worry about it too much either way. It's up to you. Once you've done all that and you hit save, again, there'll be a check mark right there to make sure that you know your title and description, everything is worked out just fine. Next section is categories. So in the categories section is where you're going to choose your bestseller categories, the bestseller list, or the categories your book is going to be listed in. Cool thing about Nook, which is different than Kindle, is they let you have 5 categories. Kindle only gives you 2, Nook gives you 5. The more, the better. You're going to want to fill out all 5 categories, absolutely. Okay, one good tip on choosing categories is you're going to want to choose different meta categories here. So notice when you first start this drop-down box here, you'll see all these major categories like business and children's and cooking and diet and health. Those are the major categories or parent categories. Under each of those categories, you're going to find subcategories. So like in drama, there's all these different drama categories, right? In diet and health, there's all these different subcategories. So what you want to do, generally speaking, is choose as many of these parent categories as possible. So you don't need to choose all 5 different categories, but for instance, if your book is about personal finance or how to save money when you're traveling, well then you definitely want like a business category because that has to do with money. You're definitely going to want a travel category because that has to do with travel, and you might even want like some other category in between, like health and fitness, which has the self-help categories, I believe. So some self-help stuff in there as well, because anything with personal finance has to do with self-help. So self-help categories right there. There you go. So that's what you want to do. Choose as many categories as you can, as many parent categories as you can. Choose all 5 categories, because the more categories you're listed in, the easier it is going to be for readers to find you and find your book. It's like free marketing, basically, the more categories you're in. Next is your keywords for search engines. Nook only gives you 100 characters, so that's not very many words. So therefore, smaller words are going to be better. So let's say you're travel book. So save money traveling, personal finance, how to save money, that kind of stuff would be your keywords right there. You only get 100 characters, so you're going to want to do some research on this because you really can't fit many keywords in here. Next, you're going to choose your audience. So for almost all books, your audience is going to be general adult. If it's like a novel, if it's general nonfiction. If you've got some erotic stuff, some XXX stuff in there, you're going to want to do mature audiences only. If you're writing a young adult book, that would be for teens right there. If you're writing a juvenile book, that's what you would choose. So choose your audience. You have to do that on Nook. You don't do that on Kindle, but Nook asks you to do that. And then finally, choose the language your book is written in. I don't understand why they can't just do that automatically, but you're just going to go ahead and choose English, most likely, or whatever language your book is in. Again, once you've done all that, hit save at the top, and it'll have a checkbox right there next to categories to let you know you fill out the categories. Final step is rights and pricing. So, if you are a self-published author, you own all the rights to your book, you've never signed a deal to give away your rights to anyone, you're going to go ahead and just automatically select worldwide sales rights. Next, you're going to choose DRM. Do you want DRM? Yes or no? I usually recommend don't do DRM because it's very easy to crack anyways. Pretty much anyone can hack DRM these days. You could Google how to hack DRM in 10 minutes. If you're, have any knowledge of computers, you could probably hack DRM pretty quickly with just a quick Google search. So it's not really that protective of your book as an author, and it does discourage some users who aren't tech savvy. It does discourage them from sharing your book and makes it a pain in the butt. If they get a different Nook device or something like that. Or if they try to share it with like a family member. So I would usually choose no for DRM, but again, it's up to you. Do your research for this, because normally once the book is published, you can't change it. So that's at least the way it is for Kindle. So you just can't change this once you've chosen it. So do your research ahead of time. Again, I usually go with no. And also, there's a study that's shown that the more your book is pirated or whatever content you have that you're selling online, the more digital content is pirated, the more it sells. So, piracy can actually be a cool way to increase your sales. Yes, no one really likes your stuff being pirated, but again, no one likes your stuff not being read either. So in my opinion, if 10,000 people download your book for free and pirate it, that's better than no one downloading it, no one reading it. And some of those pirates will actually buy your book later on, recommend it to a friend, or so have you, and that can help increase your sales in the long term. Finally, you're going to choose your list price. Okay, so let's say you want your book to be $4.99. What you're going to do is type in $4.99 right here, and the way it's set on standard, when you first do this, Nook is going to say, hey, we'll just automatically convert your price in other countries for you based on your US list price. I wouldn't really recommend that, so I recommend clicking this check mark right here, and that's going to allow you to customize your price in foreign countries. Now what you're going to want to do is adjust the price in Europe by about 3%, because there's a 3% VAT tax for ebooks in Europe. So instead of $2.99, you would do $2.90, because they're going to add 3%, which would be 9 cents. So the final price to the customer would be $2.99. It's just a nice even price. I think it looks a little bit better. So $2.90 there, and then if you wanted this one in euros, you would do $3.87, because again, if you add 3% on top of that, it would be $3.99. So I think it's just a little bit nicer price. Looks nicer when you do things that way in Europe. It's just a quick little tip. Okay, so that's all you need to know. One last thing is there's the other information section, and this is basically just asking, hey, is this public domain? If you wrote it, it's not. Is this book going to be part of a series? If it is, then hit yes and type in your series name there and which number is in your series. So for the first book in the series, you hit 1, second book you hit 2, etc. Is the book available in print? If not, hit no. If yes, and then let them know the number of pages in print. Final section you can use if you want. It's not necessary at all. Is the editorial review section. So if you had some reviews from the New York Times or some famous author or some famous journalist, something like that, you can put their reviews right there. Once that's all done, you go ahead and hit save. Once all the sections are filled out, this button right here that says publish is going to turn blue, and you'll be able to click that and publish your book. And then Nook will take their time to process all your files and upload everything and publish it. They'll send you an email when your book is published, and then your ebook is live. So congratulations, if you followed this process from the beginning to end, you now have a book you've just uploaded to Nook, and congratulations on your new book. All right, I'm wishing you an incredible day. If you've got any questions, anything I can do to help you with, post them in the comments below. Check out our blog for more information on publishing and marketing your ebooks at tckpublishing.com. If you want to check out my free training video course on how to become a best-selling author, how to become a best-selling self-published author, check out my free training video course at www.ebookpublishingschool.com. Wishing you an incredible day. Take care.